Heyers, it's Lee again from the Geeklee, back with another video, our second video, and it's another unboxing to everyone's excitement. And as you can see, it's a PlayStation VR. The box, as you can see, it's PG rated for some reason, probably because there's a demo disc that comes with it, so it must be keeping all nice and that. Look at all those things that are in this box. It's a pretty complicated setup, but that's all VR setups. Probably not quite as complicated as a HTC Vive, but still. So that's pretty much a box. I could list colors, but hopefully you can see the colors. Let's get it open. Now, we don't have a massive table that we're opening this on, so it is going to be a bit tricky. But it starts off with clean cloth, which is going to be really important, especially if you're sharing this with other people. You're going to be wiping this screen, even with yourself. You probably don't want to be catching the sweat of your last session on this. So, yeah, that's going to be a very important part of this package, no doubt. And you'll probably need to buy more as they get used and used. We have some promo stuff of some guy just totally immersed in VR. And some of the launch titles there. Which I do believe are all launch titles. I did see on the box they had Gran Turismo Sport, which has been delayed, I think, till next year. I think that's going to be the real first great racing game on PlayStation VR. Yeah, Batman, Arkham VR, I really want to try, but the problem is, try and find a PlayStation moving controller you can buy right now. It's very hard. There's none in my country right now, and I think worldwide they're pretty much hard to find. If you didn't get them in the first shipment, you could be waiting as far as till 2017, which is just crazy because if you buy a PlayStation VR, you're probably wanting motion controllers. So, bit of a disappointment I don't have that and probably won't get it for a few months, but at least I guess it can mean an extra surprise later on for playing games that do support the PlayStation motion controllers, the Move controllers like this. And to be honest, people have been complaining that that's one of the sides of the PlayStation VR which isn't so crash hot, which is the tracking. But when the PlayStation VR setup, even with the Move controllers, costs about half the price of Oculus Rift and HTC Vive with motion controllers, there's only so much you can expect out of that, especially when it's running off a PlayStation 4 versus like a $2 to $3 Australian dollar PC with like a GTX 970 and a whole bunch of other fancy stuff in it. So what else have we got in there? We have need some help with PlayStation VR? Well, there you go. I think this is a troubleshooting guide from the looks of it, but yeah. I don't think it's one of those hotlines from the 90s where if you need some cheats, you can call up PlayStation. And we open up, folds out, kind of got a fancy little catch thing here. We have the PlayStation VR manual. This is the quick start guide, which I don't know if there's such a thing with PlayStation VR, but as you can see, there's quite a lot of components and quite a lot of setting up to be doing, multiple steps to do that. So I imagine most situations you're hoping to have a fairly permanent sort of setup, so you don't have to do a lot of this stuff each time you want to use it, but I imagine you'll have to at least plug the headset into the processing unit that plugs into the PlayStation each time. So first up we have a few different cable boxes and that. Yes, that's right, a whole box just for that cable. I guess it makes it look pretty when you open it up, but otherwise seems a bit of a waste. Yeah, so I'm sure most people have seen a plug before, so that's really exciting. Next up, we have the processing unit. Now, a lot of people questioned, yeah, what's the deal with this processing unit? Like, is it because the PlayStation 4 is too underpowered to run it? Because it's supposed supposed to be able to run VR at 90 to 120 frames per second, which is just crazy because, I mean, even on my PC with GTX 970, I struggle to get frame rates like that. So how the hell is a PlayStation 4 supposed to do that? But this isn't actually a graphics boost. It's actually to do with video outputs and that. So splitting the signal, I believe, so you can actually be not only viewing it on VR, but you can also be sending it out to the TV so other people can see what you're seeing. Comes with a little manual, one of many cables. We've got a micro USB to USB connector there, no doubt for some charging action. We have some earphones that supposedly support the 3D audio that the PlayStation VR supports. But I imagine in most cases, especially if you're going to have multiple people using that you're probably not going to want to use that. You're going to want to use your own headphones if they work well with the contours of the PlayStation VR. We have the plug, or the power supply should I say, and then the actual processing unit itself. Now, this is a pretty cool little device, in that it slides. Check that out. Like you're reloading a shotgun or something, a VR shotgun. Not that I'd have any idea what a shotgun is like to reload. So you can see there's two HDMI ports on the back. There's a little, looks like micro USB cable, so that's obviously what we need to plug that cable in before, and you've got the power supply just there. And also at the front, you've got, looks like HDMI cable port, and whoa, that, I don't know if it's hard to tell if that's a USB or HDMI, or yeah, I think it'll be USB from the looks, and that will be what you'll be using to send out to the actual VR headset, while the other ones are more plugging into your TV and your PlayStation 4. So that's the little magic box that helps make things happen a bit. Underneath we've got even more cables, so you do get an HDMI cable, which is good because HDMI cables aren't always that cheap. We've got another HDMI cable here, which is a very long one, obviously the one, I'm sure that sounds great on camera, for actually plugging into your headset. You're obviously going to need a long cable if you want to have any sort of movement, so hopefully that does give enough ample space for for being able to VR your heart out. And then of course the main thing of all is the actual headset itself. You've got audio controllers here, which may be handy, might also be annoying if it keeps banging against you while you're using it. And then the actual headset itself, which has light sensors on there for the tracking. It's got an adjustable, I guess, headrest, and then obviously inside is the actual holes for seeing VR. That's what I'll use the term. That sounds like the technical term, holes for VR. Yeah. So this has slightly lesser resolution than the Oculus Rift and and the HTC Vive, but it's not much. It's not too much difference. Now, both the HTC Vive and I'm guessing also the Oculus Rift still have that screen door effect even in their consumer models. So really, you might see a slightly more pronounced screen door effect on this. We'll have to see, but overall, the little amount of difference in resolution is not going to make probably much difference. The main thing though about the PlayStation VR is I think it's the best looking VR headset around. But one thing I think that surprised me so far with this, and I guess it shouldn't because of the price of it, is the plastic feels a bit cheaper than what I was expecting. You see it, photos of it, and it looked a lot more premium than this. But that said, all the reviews I've heard of demo models and all that, they seem to suggest that this felt more comfortable than all the other VR headsets currently out. I guess that's what matters at the end of the day, as long as it doesn't break easily. I'm just a bit disappointed on the boxes and that and images. It looked like this area was kind of chrome, but it appears that it's just plastic. So, but does that affect your gameplay and the quality of the experience? Probably not. So, but that's a PlayStation VR headset. Hope you enjoyed the video. I don't want to spend too much time on this because I want to actually use it. So I'll no doubt play around with it over the next week or so and then give a full review on the geeklee.com. So make sure you like the Facebook page, the Geeklee, or keep an eye on the geeklee.com for our review coming up soon of the PlayStation VR. Thanks, and I'll check you next time.